Okay, so today we have met here for basically how to do the answer writing. Okay, so this basically answer writing for UPSC mains examination. Fine. So let's begin with the important components of the answer writing. So the first important component of answer writing is reading the question. Okay, so it may seems very simple thing, but as far as the UPSC questions are concerned, they are not straightforward. Okay, you all aware about the nature of question paper, and you might have gone through the PYQs, few PYQs of the few subjects, and you understood that there are no one-liner questions in the UPSC. Okay, nowadays if you say the see the strength length of the questions asked in UPSC GS 1, 2, 3, 4 paper, particularly in GS 4 paper ethics, so it goes up to the 4 lines. Okay, 3 lines, 4 lines, this is the length of question, and in that context reading the question carefully becomes very important. And again it becomes that important when we are actually sitting in the exam hall. Okay, now we are here in the classroom, we are with zero burden, we are with zero tension and zero pressure, we are sitting here. So reading question here seems to be very easy, but we have the experience of sitting in the UPSC examination hall when we will be having only 3 hours at our disposal, and there is a question paper for 250 marks we need to cover in within a period of 3 hours. And there, in that sense, in that context, when there is a question which is spanning for 3 lines, 4 lines, okay, it increases our pressure even to read the question paper. And second, in ethics paper, GS4 paper, we have the case studies, okay, for 20 marks. And few years back, this case study used to be the half length of the page. Oh, they used to occupy the half page only. Nowadays, these case studies they occupy entire 1 page, okay, of the question paper. Sometimes they also taking some space on second page. So this is the size of the even case study is also question for us. Okay, we have to read the case study very carefully. All the component given in the case study, we have to be very thorough with that. And so that is also nothing but the reading the question. So there also we should not be missing out any angle. Okay, so generally what we recommend students for reading the question in UPSC examination hall, or while here also whatever answer writing we will be doing, you should be since you are doing answer writing, so you will be having pen in your hand. So just not read your question with bare eyes. Use your pen. Okay, so use your pen and find out the keywords. Okay, the which are the exact demand of the question. What are they asking? So I am referring to that. So that are the keywords in UPSC answer, in UPSC question paper or the question. Keywords we can refer to two types of keywords. One is the indicating the demand of the question, and second keywords we may refer to which are used like explain, elucidate, justify, examine. So that is also we are going to look today. Okay, we are just on first component of the answer writing, so we are also looking that keywords as well today. So that type of keywords, special words, we can refer to them. So this is how you should be underlining these keywords and these special words. So you should be your focus should be there first. So after reading the question, second is interpretation. This is very, very crucial, because if you read question but interpret wrongly, then whatever 7 minutes you are going to consume next 7 minutes, neither they are coming back in that 3 hours, nor the space which you will be occupying to write the answer that is also not coming back. Okay, so in UPSC we know it is a question come answer booklet. So question is printed, then you will be getting 2 pages for 10 marker, you will be getting 3 pages for 15 marker, okay, 4 pages for case study of 20 marks, and once you start occupying that space, there is no going back, okay, because immediately second question will be printed after finishing that much space or pages. So particularly interpretation becomes more and very crucial when it comes to essay paper. Why? Because essay paper carries only 2 questions, 1 essay for 125 marks, okay, and there it is a interpretation is equal to 125 marks, okay. So everywhere interpretation is very important, so that's why here reading the question and interpreting rightly is the beginning of the answer writing, okay. If you make mistakes here, then whatever efforts are you are going to put in, that is a waste of time, and it's not like university examination that you have written something, that's why examiner is giving you some marks or something like that. It's not like in UPSC 0 is also given, okay. It's like objective examination. In objective examination either it is full marks or the 0 marks and the negative marks, but even subjective answers as well, if you interpret question correctly and if you are lacking the content, then you will get some marks, okay, because ideally there should be 5 to 6 points, but you are lacking the points or lacking the time, so you just write only 3 to 4 points or 2 points something, then you will be getting marks for that 2 or 3 points, because you read the question carefully, you interpreted correctly and written that 2-3 points, then you are getting marks. But if you read wrongly, interpret wrongly, then whatever you will use 150 words, you will use 2 pages, 3 pages, in that case also you may get 0 marks, okay. It's not like that you are writing something means you will get something for sure. It is not like whatever you are writing, that should be correctly interpreted and in context of the question only, then only you will be getting the marks. Fine. So again when we are reading the question, we are underlining keywords, and here also you should be understanding how many parts are there, whether it only one demand in the question, okay, that that question is asking, or whether there are 2 demands, or whether there are 3 demands. Sometimes questions are nowadays becoming so lengthy, for 10 marker also they are asking 3 components, okay. They may ask that causes of something, okay. Let's take the example that in internal security we have a topic like Naxalism, okay. So in that question, in that context, we can take an example that as per the current trends, the current trend of Naxalism, what is it, are you aware about the current trend of Naxalism, whether it is that Naxalism that is the trend. So issue of Naxalism is currently in a declining mode. So in that context, what can be the question framed by UPSC? So UPSC may ask you that state the current status of Naxal.
It will be 0.
That is the target.
These are the promised by government.
That is the target set by government. It's okay. That we will see. But if the UPSC is putting the question, UPSC may put the question in this manner on this particular topic, that state the current status of Naxal affected area, okay, full stop. Second, what are the steps taken by government to reduce the menace of this Naxal affected region, full stop. What more steps can government take to eliminate this menace completely, okay. So here you should be understanding that the question is asking three sub questions. So there are three sub demands. One is the current status, where it is asking you to mention the some statistics. Okay, the currently this many districts only remain as a Naxali affected. Within that also, this many are severely affected. Rest are not that much affected. And these numbers come down from this much district in 2014 back or 2010 back, when it was at the peak level, around 196 districts at that time, around 2010 to 14, when it was at peak level. This many districts were affected by Naxalism, whereas currently this is the case. So that is the first demand. Then second, the steps taken by the government, and third is what more can be done. Okay, where now that here, that is not the way forward. It is a part of question. Question is asking what more can be taken by the what more steps can be taken in that context. So these are the three. So you should be understanding that how many questions, sub questions are there, and then accordingly how much weightage should be given to that. When these are the three components of the question, it doesn't mean that always they will be carrying the equal weightage. It's not like that. Okay. For example, in this question, the first and the third, they are small components. The middle is the bigger components. That we need to how we will judge this. It's basically depends upon your understanding of that topic. Okay. Then the nature of the question. Okay. So in that gradually you will understand about these aspects of the answer writing as we go forward, subject wise, topic wise. Okay. So this is the importance of reading the question and interpretation of the question. Then third is, when we start actually writing the answer, what is the first part of the answer? The first part of answer is called as a introduction. So this is the first part. Then fourth part is main body. And the fifth part is conclusion. Fine. So we have discussed first two aspects in detail. Now let's talk about the introduction part. Okay, Adesh. Everything fine till here, Adesh? Now, if you have you have a notebook with you, na? So now write down the themes. I am writing here some themes of the introduction. So write down in your notebook. These are the themes basically which you need to think upon when you are writing introduction to any question. Okay, these are the basic themes. So this is nothing but the direction to think in that way. First theme is definition based introduction. Second theme is article based definition. Third is current affairs based introduction. Fourth can be chronology based introduction. Then the context of question. Statistics base or database. database introduction, code based introduction. Fine. So some of these themes might be familiar to you, but we will explain in brief, okay, one by one. So definition based introduction. This is the very simple, straightforward, and the thing which directly comes to your mind. Why? Because that is the concept, or that is the theme which is the main demand of that question. Okay, and that's why that concept is already mentioned in the question, and that's why defining that term, okay, that becomes the starting point of your answer. So basically this definition based introduction mostly used for geography based questions, because geography questions are mostly concept based. Okay, so there you can define that concept, so that will become naturally your introduction, and then what is the main demand, that will be explaining your main body and the concluding your answers. Okay, so but I have given example of geography. That doesn't mean in geography always you are going by this theme only. Okay, it's not like that, or it doesn't mean that in other subjects it is not applicable. It is also not like that. But the definition is very simple, straightforward. That concept is mentioned in the question, and so you are naturally beginning with that. Okay, but when we are writing answers to 20 questions in one paper, that paper 1, paper 2, paper 3, paper 4, so we should not be going only by one theme. Okay, otherwise it become it seems that there is not much diversity in our answers, and for examiner also, or sometimes definition based introduction does not suits everywhere. Where it does not suits, for example, the concept which is very popular among the masses, among the students, examiners, everyone know that concept, so then don't go for definition based introduction. For example, terrorism. If the question is on terrorism, or any Delhi terror attack, or the Pulwama terrorist attack, or something, any terror activity related to that, the question is on that, then we know terrorism. Though there is a technical definition of the terrorism, but here there is no need to again explain that technical definition of the terrorism. Okay, everyone know that concept, and in that context, don't use this definition based introduction. But for example, questions of science and technology, darknet, explain the challenges posed by darknet, if that is the question. So darknet is the concept which is not popular, okay, among the masses, or might be not that well known. So there first explain what is that darknet, and then how it works, and then what are the challenges posed by that, and what can be done over there. So that is as per the demand, but there you should be going by this definition based introduction. Okay, fine. Code based introduction. So this code based introduction, if I tell you the subject wise, it is more applicable in ethics paper. Even in ethics, code based questions are there. Okay, but when code based questions comes in ethics paper, then introduction to that code based question should not be code based. Okay, so a question has given you a code, and then again you are using another code, so that is contradictory. So there you should not be going by using this code based introduction. But somewhere else, where you have ready code, which is exactly suits to the question. Code based introduction is very impressive way to begin with, but two precautions should be taken here. The one precaution here I told you with definition based introduction. With code based introduction, two precautions are very important. One is, whichever code you are using, you should be 100% sure about the meaning of that code. You should not be having misconception about the meaning of that code. Okay, otherwise question meaning of the question is different, and the meaning of the code is something different, and there you are intermixing. So at the beginning itself, okay, your impression will be down when we will be evaluating your that particular answer. So you should be very thorough with the exact meaning of that code. That is the first precaution you should be taking. Second precaution with respect to code based introduction, that expressing or the writing that quote in an exact way, because the beauty of the quote is that within very few words they are explaining very big, they are giving very big message, or they are it carries very big learnings. Okay, the Mahatma Gandhi's quote, Vivekananda's quote. Okay, or here are some quotes written: work hard in silence, let your success be your noise. So if you change the sequence of these words ना, then okay, that जो मज़ा उसमें होती है, ठीक है, वो फिर नहीं रहती उसमें ना. तो इसलिए when you are going by quote, be the change you want to see in the word. Okay, so you should not be changing word, neither you should not be changing the sequence of the word. Okay, so then only if you are that much sure, then go for the quote based introduction. Article based introduction. So subject wise it is suits.
Should we also mention the name of thinker or scholar associated with the quote?
Acha, quote. Whenever you are going for quote based introduction, yes, at the end of that particular quote or the beginning of that particular quote, if you mention the name of the thinker, that is again very excellent thing, and again more impressive way of introducing your answer. But again, the precaution is and the caution is here, you should be again very much aware that you are 100% sure that quote belongs to that thinker only, because today we are living in the era of ChatGPT or the Google and internet, and so much huge information is there, and everywhere we see the good morning messages which carries the quotes, and in that good morning messages, quote is of different thinker name, it is given to the, it is attached with the name of another thinker. Okay, so misinformation is too much with respect to quote. So from valid or authorized sources you should be sure that this quote belongs to that thinker only. Otherwise it's not mandatory that you should you are aware about the thinker or that author of the quote. It is not mandatory. Okay, anyway, that mentioning quote is also, since it is introduction, so not an issue. So doing this quote based introduction is also optional, because we have so many themes here. Okay, but when you are going for the quote, it is not again mandatory that you must be aware about the name of the author or that thinker particularly. Fine. So article based. So now since just I refer to that's quote based ethics questions, that again we will refer when our ethics paper will begin. But just here, when already quote based question has been asked to you, then there what should be your introduction? Explaining that quote in simple words. That should be your introduction there. When the question is quote based, so since it is quote based, so it is like using some complex words. Okay, Aristotle's quotes. Okay, so nature.
Give the context. So in which context it is?
You can give context, but better to give the meaning, because these are the philosophical words. In a philosophical way they are putting these quotes. So then write their meaning in a general layman's words. So that can be introduction in that context. Fine. So articles. Article based introduction, subject wise you can relate more to the polity paper 2 questions. Okay, because these questions somewhere will be linked to the constitution. Okay, so since any question is linked with the constitution, then introducing that answer with that particular article is the best way to begin with the answer of that particular question. So for example, any constitutional body currently in news? Election Commission of India. Okay, why it is in news? SIR process is going on. Yes. Okay, so anyway, Election Commission of India always remains in news, because elections, general elections, state general election to Lok Sabha, once in 5 years. But then there are so many by elections because of resignation of someone or death of the any member or something like that. Then we have so many states and their assemblies and their elections. So everywhere at least 2 to 3 states go to the general election for their state assemblies. So for that purpose also, and nowadays it is very much in news, Election Commission of India, because of the SIR process which is going on. So if the question can be framed by UPSC in that context, that it is argued that there are flaws in the process of SIR process conducted currently ongoing in India, which is carried out by the Election Commission of India, discuss. So that is the question which is currently going on. So in that context, what can be your introduction? That Article 324 to Article 329 talks about the Office of Election Commission of India. So bus, that's it. That is the introduction. Then whatever they are asking is whether SIR process they are asking, whatever they are asking. So or whether the question is talking about the electoral reforms or something like that. In any way, whatever might be the question related to Election Commission of India, but that this can be your introduction here. Fine. Yes. Current affairs based introduction. Okay. So same that the question, if the question is remains same related to Election Commission of India. So one is article based introduction, but since it is currently news, so for which purpose it is news, you can quote that, provided that cause is positive. If the cause is negative, then don't quote that. Okay. For example, question is on AI. Okay, artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is considered to be the fourth industrial revolution and will impact Indian economy to the great extent. Examine. Okay. So this is the question. So if today I am writing the answer to this particular question, then what I will write in my introduction, that India is hosting the International AI Summit in Delhi. Okay, in the month of February 2026. Fine. So so that can be my introduction. Okay. Or many tech giants and international leaders making their appearance in the International AI Summit held in Delhi in 2026. So that can be my introduction. So just to give the context, and in that context only that question might be asked. Okay. So I am giving this my introduction to this particular question, and I am making I am showing the examiner that I am aware about the current happenings. Okay, because most of the questions in UPSC, though their nature might be static, but they get frame, or the sparks lies in the current affairs. Okay, so you should not be doing PhD in current affairs, but you must be aware about the current affairs. That is what the minimum requirement of UPSC preparation. Chronology. So chronology based introduction might be, or mostly you can use in a history paper. Okay, history subject is history questions. Why? Because history is again defined in multiple ways, but one way to define the subject of history is it is a organization. This subject is nothing but the organization of events happen chronologically. Okay, so that is the simple definition of history. So that's why many a time you can go for chronology based introduction here. Why? Because in history, when we learn history, we can connect one event to another event to third event. For example, Rowlatt Act was there. Because of that Rowlatt Act, Jallianwala Bagh Hatyakandt, that massacre happened. Because of that, national discontent get created. Because of that, Congress and Gandhiji decided to launch the non-cooperation movement. So everything is connected. Fine. So questions comes on Jallianwala Bagh Hatyakandt. So you can connect it with the Rowlatt Act, which was just passed few months before that. Fine. So this is what the chronology. You are giving the background, and then you are talking about the main question. Fine. So context. This is very important. That this is related to again reading the question, which we are discussing the first point, we mentioned that nowadays questions are very lengthy. So when questions are lengthy, it's not about that every word is related to the question or demand of the question. Sometimes or many times when questions are lengthy, in first half UPSC or the question of that particular paper subject, that they are just giving the background, they are not asking anything. Okay, so again that Naxalism question I am now framing in a different way. Now I am framing the question based on the topic of Naxalism, that currently Naxalism in India come down to just few districts and very few states of say Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh. Okay, mostly it is come down to that level, full stop. Okay, so in this context, discuss the multi-pronged strategy adopted by government of India to get this success. Okay, हाँ अभी इसमें फर्स्ट में क्वेश्चन था क्या? हाँ फर्स्ट में क्वेश्चन नहीं था, तो इसमें क्या होता है कि स्टूडेंट्स एज्यूम दैट फर्स्ट पार्ट इज आल्सो क्वेश्चन, so that they start explaining that even first part as well, but that mistake you should not be doing. So what maximum you can do, that first part can be used just for the introductory purpose, because the question is admitting that yes, Naxalism has been reduced to great extent now. Okay, they have admitted. Now you need not to take one page to justify that. When Naxalism in India has been reduced to great extent, full stop, justify. If that is the context or that is the question, then you should be taking one page to explain or justify that giving the state data and everything and all that. But here the question was saying that Naxalism in India has been reduced from 196 districts once upon a time to just 25 districts currently. Okay, full stop. So in this context, discuss the multi-pronged strategy adopted by the government of India in coordination with the various states. So there then you need not to explain the first part of the question. Okay, there you will be just making the introduction based upon that context, that then you can mention this data or some statistics. Okay, why statement is saying so. Just use 3 to 4 lines and we will be done with the first context of the question. Okay, so whatever question is saying, since it is true and we have given appropriate information, appropriate data, appropriate statistics to justify that context, and just we have used 3-4 lines, so and it become our introduction. Okay, so this is context. So whenever the story has been given, some background has been given, no question has been asked, so we have to verify whether question has been asked or not. If not asked, so that is not our main demand of the question. We max to max we can use it as a context or our introduction. Fine. Then the statistics and data, mostly you can use this for
Economy.
correct, subject wise in economy. Yes, this requires to mention a lot of data statistics. Why? Because the topics like inflation, import export, GDP growth. Okay, so these are nothing directly connected with the data. And for economy also we suggest to refer to the budget, document of budget. We also refers to economic survey. Okay, so and these booklets are nothing but again data and statistics. They are showing the trends and employment data, unemployment data, inflation, increasing, decreasing. So everything is nothing but the statistics. So there you can go for this particular statistics base. Even poverty, again poverty is, though it is topic, but it is also connected with the statistics data. Then only we can discuss about the other aspects of the poverty, but it is in a way connected with the statistics and data. So that you can mention at the beginning as your introduction, and then you can discuss about that particular topic or the question. Fine. So these are the different themes. Means if nothing comes to your mind directly after reading the question, just try to recall these themes. Then when you start recalling any one of the theme, then something comes to your mind. Why it is important? Because again we do not have much time in examination hall, because when we are saying that 7 minutes for 10 marker, so that includes reading the question, interpretation of the question, then making the framing, overall framing of that answer, how it should be structured and how it will be presented, and then comes to the introduction, that how to begin. Okay, first we talk about some, when we finish reading the question, so few points comes to our mind, and they are related to main body, not introduction. So some initially main body points will come to our mind. Based upon that, some we decide the structure and direction, everything. But before touching to the main body, we have to deal with the introduction. So, and then there also we have not much time to to make our introduction more beautify or impressive. We have to make it, but we have to do it in very using very few seconds, taking very short time. That is what the requirement. Okay, so if we think about the length of introduction, okay, so then your introduction should not be more than 30 words, 30 to 35 words. Okay, if you are asking me in context of lines, then maximum 4 lines you should be using for introduction. Again, whatever limit I have just now communicated to you, this is maximum. Again, understand, this is very important in context of UPSC. When UPSC says 150 words answer, this is maximum. If you finish your answer by 130 words, 135 words, 145 words, so this is excellent. Okay, because if you crosses this word limit, then there is a penalty. Again, when you cross word limit, say by 5 words, 10 words, 15 words, so generally it is okay, it is adjusted in that context. But when you crosses 170 words, 180 words for 150 words, it automatically get our psychology is that as an examiner we quickly understand, so much lengthy answer and must be cross the word limit. It's not like that the examiner every time count your words. They don't count, because by judgment we get to know in which answer you have crossed the word limit and in which you have not crossed the word limit. So so this is the maximum words given by the UPSC, limit given by the UPSC for 10 marker, for 15 marker. But understand, this is maximum. If you finish your answer by using 10 less words, 20 less words, that is again excellent, because that is saving your efforts, that is saving your time. Okay, and that also shows the preciseness, that even despite using less words, you are satisfied all the component and aspect of the question, because your marking pattern is depend upon how concisely you address the demand of question, not that how lengthy answer you have written. Okay, it's not like that. So similarly, introduction, even if you finish your introduction in 1 line, it's okay. So for example, you just write the definition of inflation. If the question was inflation, inflation is nothing but the constant rise in the prices of goods and services. Finish, just 1.5 line. Okay, if you finish your introduction even 1 line, 2 line, because I told you 4 line is a maximum. That doesn't mean that every time you should be writing an introduction of 4 words, 4 lines or 30 words. That is the again maximum. And second thing is that introduction and conclusion, say they are not carrying marking pattern beyond 1 marks. Okay, so if introduction is for 1 marks and conclusion is for 1 marks, main marking pattern is governed by main body. Okay, so since these are for 1 marks, what we are looking in your introduction, that whatever you have written is in context of question or not. Okay, if it is in context of question, you are getting marks. Okay, so that's why, and when you are finishing it in 3 lines, 4 lines, so that you are getting more space for main body. If you say that day you have shown me answer in conclusion, I think it was you must have used 60 words. Okay, and more than 6 lines. Okay, in your conclusion. So if you are writing that lengthy introduction and that lengthy conclusion, but anyway it is carrying only 1 marks. Okay, if you are writing lengthy introduction and lengthy conclusion, we are not awarding you the more marks, because marks are left for the main body. So you need to save time, you need to save space, you need to save words in introduction and conclusion, so that you can give more justification in your main body, and that will be fetching your marks. Fine. So this is about the introduction. I hope all the themes are clear. Okay, so this is you will be now implementing in your upcoming answer writing for different subjects, for different topics. Fine. So see, so we also finished now point number 3. Fine. Now comes to main body. Okay. Any issue in online mode? Are you able to understand? Okay, fine. Main body. Okay. So here lies the main crux of your answer, and this is main part defining your actual score in that particular question and overall in that particular paper. Okay, so main body of answer. Now today I am not going to discuss the content, okay, because this is the general orientation class, and content will be different as per the subjects, as per the topic, okay, as per the concept. So today just I am giving you the idea about the presentation, okay, what types of presentation you can go for in main answer body. So how we can beautify them, and how we can make it more unique or different, something like that. So first is mostly we recommend students to write your answer in point format. For example, introduction, that is what your beginning of the answer. Then after that, what we look for, some heading, the heading which is the main demand of question. For example, that we have taken the question related to Naxalism, that state the current status of the Naxalism in India. So then your first heading should be status of Naxalism. So that heading should be that should not be like full sentence. It should be just bullet points. Okay, and you can even restructure. You should not be copying the sequence of that heading from the question as well. From the question, okay, you can reorganize. The question is saying that the current status of Naxalism in India, so, and here are just using that current status of Naxalism. That is okay. Very few words, 3-4 words should be there in your heading, and then in point format you are explaining that point number 1, what is the district wise situation, point number 2, what is the state wise situation, point number 3, severely affected districts, likewise. So, okay, 1, 2, 3 points you have mentioned, and you satisfied the first heading of the question. Okay, so that after that, the second heading, we will be looking for the second heading, that what is asked in the question, whether that heading remains there or not. So for basically just looking at your answer and looking at your headings, we get to know that whether you completely understood the question, and as well as you have addressed all the parts of answer. Okay, because each part is carrying some weightage, and suppose you miss off one aspect of the question, then you miss that part of the marks. So it won't be out of 10 now, then it will be out of 7, because you have not addressed the part which is carrying 3 marks, for example. Okay, so this is the point format you should be writing, but otherwise it's not mandatory. Again, paragraph format, which is the traditional way of answer writing. For a essay, point format is not recommended. Okay, your essay should not be in point format. Even in optional also, yes, the correct. So generally in optional also, the paragraph format is recommended by the faculties. Okay, so there in even our GS papers as well. For example, code-based ethics questions. They are philosophical in nature, and they are if you are going by paragraph formats, that is more appropriate appropriate way of answering that particular question. Fine. Then third point is about flow chart. Then the diagram. Okay, map. So here the main question is that generally everyone talks about that draw flow chart, draw map, draw diagram, something in your answers to make it unique and fetch more marks, or to use minimum words to express more. So this is what everyone recommends to the students. But mind here, it's not like that in every answer for compulsory purpose you are trying to draw a map or flow charts or something like that. It's not compulsory again. So this should be natural and organic. So whenever you draw any flow charts or diagram, that should be showing as a organic way of answering your answer, and it should not be disturbing your flow. Okay, so first thing, it is not mandatory that every your answer must carry flowchart or something like that. But when it comes to geography answers, then yes, using maximum maps or diagram for river system. Okay, so question related to temperature or the soil. So there, if you are using diagram, map, so it will be giving you additional mark for sure. Okay, if you do not draw diagram or map in geography answers, then you might be getting little bit less marks compared to the students who has draw that particular map or diagram over there for geography questions. But for others, it's not like that. I am awarding more marks to someone who has drawn a flowcharts and giving less marks to the someone who has not drawn. So it's all depend upon how you address the demand of question. Okay, so that is what the main body of your answer. This is the way you must be answering that particular question in this format. Fine. So any query from your side related to main body of the answer you would like to ask? Fine. As we go subject wise, topic wise, we will discuss more about this. Then I think now we left with the last point, conclusion. Yes. So here conclusion also we will conclusion and last, then point number 6 will be the special words. Okay, we will also talk about the special words or the keywords like yes. So conclusion, yes, this will take 5 minutes, and this may take 5 to 7 minutes. So just 10-15 minutes more, we will conclude our answer writing session in next 10 minutes. So now let's talk about the conclusion themes. We have discussed the introduction themes. So let's talk about the conclusion themes related to conclusion. You can also write down this. The first theme is positive approach. Correct. Futuristic. Third, we can say yes, balance. Fourth is broader. You can broader your aspect here. Okay. Then the fifth is again same, that code base. The way you can introduce your answer by using quote. In similar manner, you can also conclude your answer by using a particular quote. So always we must remember that we are writing these answers or we are appearing to the mains examination. So this is the civil service. So they are selecting us for a civil servant. Okay, and when you will get selected and work in the administration, so it's not without challenges within working in the administration. Despite different types of resources, there always lies various challenges. Okay, so it's not easy despite you having the powers, despite you having the authority, despite you having the human resource at your disposal, despite you having the financial resources at your disposal. It's not easy to work at work at the ground level, because there lies the various challenges. Okay, so but in that working in that challenge, that environment of challenge, your approach and your attitude should always be positive. Okay, so we know that generally in UPSC examination, mains examination, questions are related to various issues. Okay, so generally and issues means problems. Okay, and we want to solve them. We are solving them since independence, and that this is the ongoing process. So when question is on this SIR process, so any or now census will come. So whatever government start, any particular scheme, any particular mission, new education policy, environmental related initiatives, infrastructure initiatives, anything, whatever governments works on or our society is going through, so there lies some challenges. But as an administrator, what approach you should be reflecting upon at the end of the answer is the positive approach. Okay, so whether question is talking asking you to critically evaluate the particular status of the scheme, critically examine the performance of MG Narega scheme or e-governance scheme, something. So there lies some positives, there lies some negatives, but at the end your approach should be positive. Okay, so that is what, again, the balance. It is also near to positive only, that question might be asking about the positive aspect, negative aspect, futurist, any challenges or something like that. But at the end you should balance your answer with the different talking about the different approaches in your conclusion. Futuristic, that shows, okay, that if the answer is you are concluding your answer connecting it with your future targets. For example, Vikasit Bharat by 2047, that is what our broader target as our nation, as our central government is always talks about. So if you are able to connect your answer to that vision, so that can be very good. If the question is on related to environment, so on environment front, we have net neutrality target of net neutrality to be achieved by India by 2070. Okay, so that is the target we are carrying, that by 2070 our net carbon dioxide emission and absorption will be same, will be achieving that state. So that is what the target we are taking, we are trying to achieve on that particular front. SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. So we are now near to that, because the target is to achieve all these SDGs by 2030. So, but these are also again futuristic targets. So likewise, if you are able to connect your conclusion is with any one of these particular themes, so that is again an impressive ending, that you that shows that yes, you are aware about these various targets set by our government, our nation, and you are able to connect that issue with that particular theme or the aspect. Broader approach for concluding your answer. What is that broader approach to conclude your answer? It means whenever we talks about the any question or the any issue which is there in a UPSC question paper, so questions are always very specific. Okay, so for example, urban flood is a new phenomenon in India, witnessed in almost every metro city in India. Okay, so question is very specific related to urban flood. Okay, it is not very broad related to urbanization. It is a part of urbanization. Urbanization is a very broad process, and urban flood is one of the specific issue which we discuss or study within that urbanization chapter. Okay, so now question is with related to urban flood, but in conclusion you can connect this conclusion or this answer with a broader sustainable urbanization in India. So that is what the requirement. Okay, and again the sustainable habitat, that is also a SDG goal. Okay, so you here in a means in UPSC answer writing, conclusion has to be in context of question, your body has to be in context of question, but conclusion is the space where you have some liberty. Okay, here you can broaden your scope of writing that conclusion. For example, if the question in society we have topics related to women issues. Okay, so suppose the question is about the dowry issue, or question is about the women's participation in workforce, or it is about the women's limited presence even now in higher education. Okay, or women's limited presence in innovation. Okay, research and development. The question is very specific. Women's presence in research and development, it is limited, though the India's female literacy rate and gross enrollment ratio at the primary level has been increased substantially in last decade, but yet their presence in higher education and high-tech innovation technology at level remains very minimal. Discuss, that is the question. So then you mentioned the introduction, you discussed the okay, all scenario, and now when it comes to the conclusion, so now here you can take the liberty that since women comprises the 50% of our society, so their equal participation even in this research field will help us to achieve the broader inclusive
effectiveness, efficiency.
Exactly, you can connect to the inclusive growth, you can connect it with the way we are need to compete with China and USA, okay, in innovation, okay, in that particular field. So you can connect with anything. You can connect with this inclusive growth, you can connect with the empowerment of women, you can connect with the international competition with China and USA in this particular field. Okay, so you have all these liberties. So this is the beauty of the conclusion. Code base I have already discussed at the time of introduction. Same, if the relevant code is there in relevant with a proper sequence, you have ready with you, and you feels that it is suits to the discussion what we have already discussed in your answer. So always you can just conclude your answer by using that particular code. Fine. So this is what all about the all themes related to conclusion. The last part of our discussion now, keywords. Okay. So with respect to keywords, the thing is that around 15-16 keywords are there. Okay, might be one or two more or less, or some maybe UPSC may come with new keywords, something like that. No need to worry about that. I am now not discussing all these keywords one by one. What happens if we discuss these keywords one by one? At the end, you feel like that, sir, the meaning of all keywords seems to be same. Okay, it's okay. It's that is the conclusion what we derive. That is the confusion remains in our my state of mind. So that's why I am not discussing keywords one by one. Rather, I have grouped all these keywords in four groups. Why 4 groups? Because the keywords which are under group 1, they have more or less similar meaning, then similar grouping. So I am discussing these keywords in 4 groups, and whatever keywords are there in particular group, they carry the same meaning. Fine. So group 1. You can write down this. So write down these keywords and also let me know any keywords comes is which I have not written here but is coming to your mind.
Describe.
Describe, fine. Describe.
कई बार बिना कीवर्ड के भी पूछ लेते हैं क्वेश्चन.
हाँ, अभी आवाज़ आ रही है? Because I was writing, I was not speaking anything, so that's why there was no noise or the sound. Now check whether I am audible. Okay, fine. हाँ, sometimes okay, sometimes there will be questions without any keywords. Yes, that is also a condition, that is also the reality. Okay, so not an issue. Sometimes even question with the this question question mark words, this if the question is beginning, what are the issues, okay, Indian society is going through because of the globalization. So might be in that context they might not use any keywords, but they have begun with the what are the issues or what are the transformation Indian society is going through, or what are the impact on Indian workforce because of the upcoming this AI boom. So sometimes there might be the question in this way. This question we consider as a straightforward question because they are directly asking you a question. So this type of questions are less in number in UPSC, but generally the questions which will be giving a background or some context and then giving one of this using one of this keyword, they are more in number. Fine. So now this group 1. Group 1 is very easy. We have mentioned 4 keywords: explain, justify, elucidate, describe. So here you need to agree what question is saying. Okay, so whatever is the connotation of question, what is the that alignment of that particular question, in that context only you should agree completely with the statement given in the question, and you are just justifying that particular question. No contradiction, no other opposite picture, you are no contradictory points you are mentioning, no need of that. Since question is saying justify, so justify. For example, lawyer argue in the courtroom, so they just justify side of their clients. Okay, because every story has 2 sides. So that's why in a court there are always 2 parties and 2 lawyers, but one lawyer do not talk from the perspective of the other party. They always justify their own client, despite he is knowing that he is a criminal and he is the one who has committed that particular crime. Okay, so despite that he justifies. Okay, so that is what the justify.
Disadvantages भी नहीं होना चाहिए.
हाँ, इसमें if the question is only talking about the for example MG Narega scheme. हाँ, I am giving the example. MG Narega scheme has been, अभी MG Narega scheme का नाम भी चेंज कर दिया है. ठीक है. हाँ, so जी राम जी scheme is now in a new format introduced by this government, which is a transformative scheme in context of generation of employment opportunities in rural India. Okay, and now I am using any keyword from group 1. So that means you need to mention only merits or the advantages of that particular scheme. Okay, you know there are some few limitations, there are some lacunas, there are some leakages in that schemes. But since it is using this one of the keyword from this group, so you know not to bother about the second side of that particular scheme or the question or something. Okay, so you are using all the that space given to you, all the word limit given to you to explain that stand only. Fine. Now group 2. So comment, examine, analyze, discuss. So now here lies the second side of the story. Though the question is only talking about the positive, but using these keywords. So that means first you must be talking about the positives only. But since this is the keywords, so you also be giving similar weightage to the second side as well. Okay. So this is what the importance of this group 2 keywords. That is the difference. Group 3 critically examine, critically analyze, critically discuss means group 3 is nothing but the additional critically word just before this any word. Okay, critically comment, critically examine, critically analyze, critically discuss. So group 2 words they are using and this they are additionally putting this critically word. So here means the one thing is similar, that again two sides you be talking about. Okay. The additional two things here is that the sequence. For example, what I mentioned here, that the connotation of the question here is a positive. So mention first positive and then give the negative. Here when the question is positive, so again here the sequence will remain same, that first talk about the positive and then reverse it, contradict negative with negative points. But the thing is that here you should be giving little less importance to the positive and more importance to criticize that. Okay, the opposite side, the contradictory part, that we can roughly say that 40-60% weightage. Here we are giving roughly 50-50% weightage. Okay, in group 2. But here since critically words they have been used, so give little less weightage to the connotation with the which is having that particular question, and then contradict it with more points. Okay, and here then again the last component, generally as a conclusion we used to mention everywhere our conclusion, but here when they are using critically analyze or this particular word, then last part of your answer should be way forward. So use that heading. Generally whenever we are writing introduction and whenever we are writing conclusion, we are not using these words. Okay, we are directly writing introduction. We are not writing the heading as an introduction, and we are not writing the heading as a conclusion. Okay, directly first paragraph we are referring as introduction, last paragraph by default we are considering as a conclusion. But when these are the critically analyze, critically examine, then use the last key heading as a way forward, and then in that context no need to write separate conclusion. Okay, and another difference is that introduction and conclusion always in a paragraph format. Okay, that must be always, introduction and conclusion should be in a paragraph format, whereas when you are writing way forward here, that can be in point format. Okay, so here generally I told you that you should not be taking more than 30 words or 3-4 lines for conclusion, but when you are writing way forward, little bit more liberty you can take here. Okay, but not much again, but little bit more, that instead of 30 words you are use 40 words, it's fine. Okay, so that way forward is also important here. Explain with example, you are understanding the meaning, and this is the illustrated is also again nothing but the explain with example. So what is difference here? The difference here is that when these are the keywords, that means whatever points you are writing in your answer, okay, say total 6 points you are written, 8 points you are written, whatever, each point or each argument should end with example. That is what the requirement here. Generally what we suggest to the student for as a good answer writing, that always write at least one example in one component. Okay, suppose that particular question having 3 sub questions, at least write one example in first component, then another example in second component, third example. So if 2 aspects have been asked, mention 2 examples. Okay, that is what the general demand of the examples in general sense. But when
करंट वर्ल्ड से होना चाहिए या नॉर्मेटिव कोई सी भी एग्जांपल?
हाँ, कौन से भी चल सकते हैं, बट मोर अट्रैक्टिव एग्जाम्पल्स आर ऑलवेज इफ यू टेक इट देम फ्रॉम द करंट अफेयर्स न्यूज़ फ्रॉम द न्यूज़पेपर दैट शोज. हाँ, so they are also in anyway means suppose current affairs magazine. Suppose when I am saying newspaper and you say that magazine is okay, magazine is prepared based on newspaper only. Okay, so any current affairs is the basic source is newspaper only. Okay, so not an issue if you are taking examples from newspaper, if you are taking examples.
कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के आर्टिकल्स को भी एग्जांपल में डाल सकते हैं क्या, जैसे किसी पॉलिटी का आंसर उसे रिलेट कर रहा है तो?
नहीं 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 नहीं, वो नहीं होगा उसमें जनरली आर्टिकल्स नहीं, वो तो कंटेंट का ही पार्ट हो जाएगा, कोर कंटेंट का पार्ट हो जाएगा. एग्जांपल्स तो वो हो जाता है कि जब हम कोई आर्गुमेंट्स दे देते हैं एंड देन इट कनेक्ट विद द एनी पर्टिकुलर एग्जांपल. ओके, सो दैट इज़ द वी टॉक अबाउट द एग्जांपल्स. एग्जांपल्स में हमें ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, द क्वेश्चन हियर, व्हाट द क्वेश्चन and the what mistakes generally we find in the answers of the student, that they first write the argument and then they also write example with explanation. So examples never be written in a explanation format, they just should be mentioned in one word or max to max 2-3 words. Okay, why? Because you already explain your argument. Okay, now you are just to make it clear, to make your argument clear, you are just giving the example. Okay, so that means whatever examples you are using, that must be popular. Okay, so because of that popularity of that example, we get to know that, oh okay, what yes, you mean this, you want to link with that particular thing or that particular example or the argument. For example, we are writing answers, we are writing answers to, for example, that any particular scheme. The general point in answers related to governance is that the corruption we write. Corruption is very common point. Generally that points we write whenever it comes to the criticism or the critical analysis of that any particular government scheme or the policy, something like that. So when we write that particular point with 1 or 2 lines, so now example. So example in that what should be, you should be mentioning then example. So that should be more specific. Okay, that 2G scam. Okay, so that is the example. Okay, Commonwealth scam. These are the means old example. Recently, if you want to quote something, so from that you can quote similar examples. So that will connect with your point of corruption, argument of corruption with that particular point. So this is how should your example be. You should not be explaining your example, just you are mentioning in 2 or 3 words. Okay, that is the question you should be taking. And when these are the keywords, you should be writing examples to all your arguments. Fine. So that is what the requirement here is. Fine. So this is all from my side. I think we have explained all the aspects of answer writing. Fine. So this is all we have finished.